Hello, beautiful people. You are welcome back again to my channel. If you are just coming across this channel for the first time, you are highly welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, you are appreciated as well. In today's video, I'm just going to be showing you how I made this beautiful blazer, and I know you will love to see how I made this, like really simple. But if you haven't watched the pattern drafting of this tutorial yet, please do, so you will understand better how I was able to come up with this. So if this sounds like what you will love, kindly watch it to the end, and please do well to hit the subscribe button when you are done watching and like this video. I will also appreciate if you comment and share this video. Without wasting so much time, let's quickly jump into today's video. The materials needed for this tutorial are my fabric, my interfacing, lining, and my pattern papers. From my previous video, I had already done a tutorial on how to draft a blazer. So what I did was just to place those pattern papers on my fabric and also my lining to cut them out. I added extra half an inch for joining, just the way you see me do. Then I also used the pattern papers to cut out my interfacing. But if you watch for the front part where the lapel is, I cut out 4 pieces of the fabric because I want a case whereby when you flip the collar to the other side, you will be seeing the fabric instead of lining. Okay, so in a nutshell, I used fabric as lining for that part carrying the lapel. Hope that makes sense. So for that front part too, I also did the interfacing. Like I cut out interfacing for that front part. As you can see, interfacing is just on that first piece, but the others are just fabric and lining. Hope you understand. So I actually made these parts to be slow so you will see how I arranged everything. Also note, I didn't add extra seam allowance apart from the one for the joining. You know where I did the cutting for the darts, that was where I added seam allowance, and also in the armhole area. But outside that, I don't have any other seam allowance. So I only have the one for joining of the pieces together, and I also have the one for the armhole. In my previous video, I already showed us how to draft a basic sleeve, so I just used it to cut out my fabric and lining. I have just joined the front part. Hope it's making sense now. You know we had 4 pieces, and that's what I have here. You can see that the interfacing is just on the part that carries lapel because I want that part to be stable. You remember I said if you want to create a curve, which is optional, you can do it. I'm just trying to remind you when I said you can either create a curve or you leave it like that, but I'm just going to be leaving mine this way. Okay guys, this is the back part of the blazer. I've also joined them. You can see it's also bringing out its own beauty, and you can see that that part is a bit opened, which I've also joined. So I've ended up joining the 4 pieces, and I notched those parts so that it will be relaxed. So exactly what I did for the fabric, I'm just going to be doing the same for the lining. Just watch the arrangement again. So this is for the front part. All right, you can see it. You know, I mentioned earlier that I'm using fabric as lining for the lapel part so that when I open it up, you will not be seeing a black lining, rather you'll be seeing a fabric. So that's why you are seeing fabric in this part of the cutout. Hope it's clear. So this is the back panel, it's all lining, and I've also joined. But if you watch carefully, I left that part open. You will know why I did that before the end of this video. Let's keep watching. So this is for the back part of the blazer, that's for the fabric, and then I'm trying to join the front part of the blazer to the back part. So it's really easy. Okay, what you just do, you just align everything properly, making sure that the shoulder is aligned to the shoulder of the back piece. on both sides. Just watch what I did here. I sewed the shoulder of the front piece to the back piece. Then I also joined the sides, maintaining my seam allowance, alright? So this is what it should look like after joining. For the collar part, I didn't show you how I joined it, so I'll be using the lining to explain how I joined that part. It's just bringing the two together, alright? So I'm going to explain it clearly using the lining. I've also joined every part of the lining, but I left that collar part open because I wanted to explain something. So if you want to join the collar part, you first of all sew it like that to the lining, after which you will then join the two pieces of the collar. When I was done, I just notched this part. Let me show you. You're going to notch that part so that it will be relaxed. So I notched this part. I also notched the other part. The same thing I did for the fabric. All right. Please, when notching, be careful so you don't go too deep. Okay. Watch me as I try something different here. I'm trying to create a false pocket. I want my jacket to have a false pocket. So I just grabbed a piece of fabric, like folded into four, so that when I'm done cutting, I should have four pieces. And because I was trying out something different, so I wasn't that sure of what I was doing. But just watch what I did. I just marked 5.5 inches as the width of the pocket. And again, I marked about 1.5 inch, and that will serve as the height of the pocket. Yes, let me put it like that. But again, I wanted to make it stylish, so one part was like 1.5 inch and the other part was like 1 inch, so that when I connect all the points, it will not totally give me a rectangle. Hope you can see what I just arrived at. So I should have four pieces. I also attached my interfaces so that it should be stable. And that's it right there. What I did was just to sew it, turn it inside out. That one is easy, so there's no need to show how I arrived at it. Now I need to mark out the position of the pocket. From the shoulder of the blazer, I marked about 17 inches. This position is totally dependent on you. However you want it, just place it. Like I was actually trying out something, okay? Then I needed to get the midpoint. Since it's 5 inches, so I needed to make it in a way that when I place the pocket, I'll have 2.5 on each side of the pocket. I've just fixed it and this looks good, right? It is not compulsory, but it can add extra beauty to your design. It's time to fix the sleeve. Again, taking note of the front armhole and the back armhole. So I just fixed the sleeve both for the lining and the fabric. So here is how it looks. If you have been observant, you will notice that whatever I do for the fabric is what I do for the lining. I've just fixed it, trying to arrange it well for you to see how it's looking. Okay. As you can see, I've also fixed the sleeves for the lining. Now I want to show you how to fix like a shoulder pad. I don't have a shoulder pad, so I'll be making use of my wording so that when you wear the blazer, the shape of the shoulder will look very distinct. All right. So let me show you the trick I used. That's the shoulder part of the cloth. I just measured it and it's about 5.5 inches wide. I'll just be marking 5.5 inches on my wording, and I'll be using my free hand to like create a curve like that. You understand when you're trying to put a shoulder pad on your cloth? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to achieve here. I cut it and I cut an extra piece for the other shoulder. Watch how I will attach it. I'm just going to be placing it on the seam allowance of the shoulder. Do you understand? I'll be sewing it on the seam allowance of the shoulder. And here is how it looks. Hope it's clear. So I did it for the two sides. Note the shoulder pad is just going to be on the fabric alone. You are not going to sew it on the lining. It's time to join the two together, that is the fabric and the lining. As you can see, the right side of the fabric is facing up. I'll also be facing the right side of the lining on the right side of the fabric. Hope I am making sense. Just watch what I did. You understand what I'm talking about. The two right sides are facing each other in summary, okay? So the right side of the fabric, I'm just going to be aligning it. You see where all the seams are, where all the stitches are, make sure they are aligning. And you are going to be needing a lot of pins here because once you start sewing, you just keep sewing till you are done, all right? So I make sure I align everything properly. And that's why I would suggest as you are sewing, please be ironing it so that it will all stretch out evenly, all right? You see this part, it's like I joined to the lining. Yeah, the lining was a bit shorter there, but it doesn't really matter, okay? So that's why you see that joining there. It doesn't really matter. You know, when you are managing your fabric, you start joining all the joinables, but it didn't really stop the beauty of the cloth, trust me. Um, so I'm still like pinning everything. Like I used a lot of pins here because I wanted something very nice at the end of the day. Okay. And when you are sewing round, you make sure you sew round totally because if you are thinking of how you will turn it inside out, don't worry. That's why you have that opening on that lining part. Okay. So I have just finished stitching round the jacket. See, I've stitched everywhere. So I'm just going to be bringing out the fabric from that opening. Does this not look beautiful and easy? Because most times when you see some styles, you'll be thinking, how can I make this? But when you start sewing it or when you start cutting it, you will now see that there's really no big deal. Okay? There's really no big deal in it. Just if you have been following the tutorial, you will notice that it's not really as difficult as it looks. Alright? So when I would just be joining the two sleeves. Now you know we've not joined that part. And watch how we do it. This part also can be very confusing, but just watch. From that same opening, I brought out the fabric, that is the wrong side of the fabric and the wrong side of the lining. Okay, can you see they are all the wrong side? What I'm trying to achieve here is to fuse the two. See how I'm doing it? I'm now bringing out the right side of the fabric to fuse with the right side of the lining. You see what I did there? And make sure the seams are aligning. Where the stitch of the, okay, I've just zoomed it here. Make sure they are all aligning, alright? It's not the other way around. If you do the other way around, you will not get what I'm trying to explain. You see, it's like when two things are kissing each other. Sorry for that language, but I'm just trying to drive home my point. The front part of the lining, you see it's the right side of the lining is actually facing the right side of the fabric. Make sure they are well fused, okay? So when you fuse everything like this, it will be easy for you to sew. I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine to sew, okay? And I did it for the other side. Then from that opening, I will also push the sleeves back inside and you will see the outcome now. All right, guys, you see how it is. Make sure you bring out every part that needs to be brought out. You see, so that way you'll be having a neat sleeve. Okay, so now that I am done doing all the stitching and everything, I just went ahead to close up that opening. Then for that part, you can now decide the kind of button you want to put. That is where the lapel is. You will just put your button. For me, I use a press button. You can use any beautiful button or a very big button. And just see, the jacket or the blazer is ready. Can't you see it has nice fitting, very beautiful. I can even rock it with any trouser depending on how I want it. See the back, the fitting is there. Everything about it is just on point. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you have watched it to this point and you have not given it a like yet, please, what are you waiting for? Kindly give this video a like, share it. Most people are wondering how it's being made, and now this is so simplified. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel yet. See you all in my next video. Bye.